Welcome to the We Are More podcast. My name is Alyssa.
And my name's Bree. We're two sisters passionate about all things faith and feminism.
We believe that Jesus trusted, respected, and encouraged women to teach and preach his word. And apparently that's controversial.
Get comfy.
There we go.
Whoop, there it is.
Hi, and welcome to episode 6.
I have no idea. They're blending together.
We need to look that up before we start recording.
Welcome to episode 6. Could be 8.
No, pretty sure it's 6. It's confusing because we upload every 2 weeks, but we're recording them ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So, right.
You didn't know that, did you?
We talk about that all the time.
Oh. I thought it was a secret.
No, but look how much louder we are now.
Wow, look at us
Hooray
go.
for us. So because you guys are listening a little bit later, I believe episode 4 just went up.
Yes, it did.
So our modesty episode is the one that went up this last Thursday. We're super proud of that one.
Super proud. We got a lot of really great responses.
Mm-hmm.
Did anybody follow along with the game?
I don't think we talked about the game.
Oh, I think it should be a game. Go back and listen again to episode 4. Every
Take
time
nice
you
little
hear,
sippy of water.
yeah,
Every time we say boobs.
just water.
Just water. That's all.
Jesus turned water into wine.
Maybe.
You could do wine.
Maybe if you pray hard enough.
I think we're crossing over.
Yeah, well.
We're tiptoeing through.
So we got really cool responses from the Modesty podcast. Probably more responses off of that one than we have in the past.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I think that's because that tends to be a very hot button issue.
It does seem to be a hot button issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that affects, a lot of what we talk about affects women specifically in the Christian world, but that hits all women.
Yeah, across the board.
Right.
Yeah.
And we have a little bit of a different perspective on it because of our faith, but it's just a universal truth, unfortunately, that women are expected to dress a certain way.
Isn't that a quote from a classic book? It is a universal truth.
Yes, it's from Pride and Prejudice.
Yes! I'm literate!
It's a truth universally acknowledged that a single man of good fortune must be in want of a wife.
I think that was our first post,
Instagram.
social media.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I was very proud of that.
I know. We just were tiptoeing into the verge of blasphemy.
Nope, that's not it. Man, what? I'm an editor. I should know that. What is that word?
What word are you looking for?
When you plagiarism. That's the word.
Plagiarism.
Yeah.
Just a touch.
Just a little plagiarism.
Just a little taste.
She's long gone. It's fine. She doesn't care anymore.
Jane.
Yeah. So that was a really good one. Well, I think we'll talk a little bit about some of the feedback we got as well as we go on.
Yes, we may.
We may.
We very well may.
At least it's on the outline. So today we wanted to answer a couple of questions. We're kind of taking a little bit of a break from our really heavy topics.
It's been quite heavy.
It has. And I hope you guys have enjoyed that. I think,
yeah,
especially with the modesty one, we talked about it, and it was a hard topic, but we felt like it needed to be heavy and not just funny, even though we like to be funny.
Even though we are hilarious.
We are so funny.
Mostly me.
Mm.
Our voices sound so similar, though, so sometimes you really can't tell who's saying what.
When I edit, sometimes I'm like, did I say that?
I know.
So sorry if that's the case.
Hi, my name's Brianna, and I like warm hugs.
No, you don't.
I hate them, actually. Please stay away.
I think it won't help either. Should we video this someday? Because we look so similar.
Yeah, we do.
People are not we're going to mess people up. So we're going to address a couple of the questions today that we have gotten from people that we have heard.
And are just like common questions for women who believe the way that we do.
Right. So we're going to dive into that a little bit. This might be a little bit of a shorter podcast. They've been running long lately.
I know. I feel like people deserve a little bit of a break.
Yeah. So we just have to be really, really funny this time.
Or I can just sing more.
You sing so much.
I'm a little nasally today, so maybe it's not the best idea today.
I just finished editing episode 5. Yeah, so we are on 6. I just finished editing episode 5. And you sang no less than 5 times.
There's a song for everything.
I cut out several, so they don't get to hear all of them.
There's several people who would agree with me.
Should we name
I have a cloud of witnesses.
You have a family full of witnesses. So the first question we're going to go through is, I think, comes from people that are not necessarily religious, or people that have stepped away from the church, things like that. And that is, why have we stayed in the church? And why do we continue to follow God?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's such an important question, because it's confusing.
It is confusing.
Because if we really have seen what we've seen, and have been told the things that we've told you guys about, what we've heard.
Yep.
Why would we stay?
Yeah, if it seems like it's against everything that we would stand for.
Right. So we have been diving into that with each other a little bit and just chatting about it. We have similar reasons and different reasons.
Yeah.
So, Brie, one of the things that you have talked a lot about is that you tried to leave the church.
Yeah. I would say one of the things I wanted to bring up is there comes a point in everybody's life where you have to decide what you want to believe for yourself. So I feel like for us, we both grew up in church. We both went to Christian schools. And as much as I went to Christian colleges. Correction.
We went to Christian schools when we were really little.
Yeah.
With Curtis.
Curtis, my boyfriend. Maybe he'll be my husband one day.
Maybe. We can show him the podcast.
Maybe he's listening.
Maybe.
What a fun story.
That would be a fun story.
I sought you out. Sorry, I threw up.
I hope people listened to the last episode, otherwise that makes no sense. Yeah.
But you just grow up in the faith for so long. You go to a school, or I went to a school, that chapel wasn't really required, but I'm still surrounded by people who are like-minded in faith to me. So once I got out of college, I didn't really know what to do with myself. I would say I was a little bit depressed. I think that would be easy for me to say.
Yeah.
Because now I'm having to figure out why I believe the things that I believe. And why God is putting me in these situations. Or do I think that God exists? And I think that's really common for a lot of people. You have to make your faith your own.
Especially people our age, I think, have, our parents, it was just expected. Like, you just go to church. That's just how it is. And it's not really expected for people in our age group. Mm-hmm. So you do have to really deconstruct and then figure out where you want to go from here.
Yeah. Also, it's scary going into a church by yourself.
Yeah.
It's not very fun. Especially if you're going into smaller churches, because those people have already made their connections.
Right. Well, and one of the things that you've talked a lot about, too, that I think is super important to bring up is, as a single person, you are literally having to walk in alone. You don't have that extra person on your side.
Yeah, for sure. And so much of church is geared towards married people or people in relationships. Right. It's like either kids or married people. And if you're single, there's something wrong with you. And if you're single, that's a whole nother topic. But
we've talked about, we're going to go into what it looks like to be a single woman in the church and what it looks like to be a married woman in the church in future episodes. But get
Not
excited
necessarily
for that.
Today.
Not necessarily today.
But yeah, you have to make your faith your own. And I kind of started by a lot of journaling, a lot of self-reflecting.
So with all of that, once you had kind of deconstructed, what made you feel like you still wanted to be in church, even if you did have faith?
I feel like God keeps calling you back, and it's hard to explain, but there was this tug at my heart, like, get back in there. I still love you. I still love you. And I think a big part of me coming back to faith was when Grandpa got sick, actually, and he lived his life. He wasn't a Christian for a good chunk of his life.
Till I was born.
Yeah, so 1992. He was born
Hey, rude.
I'm so sorry I called you out. It was so rude of me. Sister to sister. She was born in 2008. My
Exactly.
bad. But for a big part of his life, he was not a Christian. But then he did become a Christian, and he spent his whole life, like, every morning he would pray over this huge list of people. And not just like, oh, pray for Brianna, oh, pray for Alyssa. It was like in detail about everybody's life. Mm-hmm. And it was this huge list of people, and his faith was so strong. And I thought, if I can be even a quarter of what he is, that would be amazing for me. So I started diving deeper into the Bible, deeper into going to church, finding a small group. And actually, I think that's what helped me get through when he did pass away, because I did have that connection back with God. And I have this whole journal saved over there of going through that time.
Yeah.
And there's so many emotions, but God keeps calling you back.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think one of the big things that you're talking about there is just having a community.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we'll go into this a little bit later. I think the Bible calls you into community with people who believe the same way that you do.
Mm-hmm.
Or believe not exactly the same way. You're never going to find somebody that has exactly the same opinions.
Not even you and I share all of the same opinions.
No.
Because
I think I'm prettier than you.
That's incorrect.
But I think, you know, what you found at that time and what you needed at that time was community.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, community can look different for different people. Mm-hmm. And we'll go into that later, too. But I think that's part of God tugging on your heart, is saying it's hard to live this life alone.
Yeah, it is.
Which is a struggle for me, because I am an introvert, and let me tell you, my greatest joy is to live life alone.
But I don't think that's totally true for you.
It's not. And that's, you know, the wisdom of what's in the Bible and things like that is, I, left to my own devices, would have you and Nathan, and that is the end of the list.
Well, maybe our parents and a few other members of our family.
No, but I mean, the list would be short, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yes.
I wouldn't seek anyone out and create relationships, because that's just not who I am naturally. But there come times, like when Grandpa passed away, like when you have major tragedies in your life, or major great things in your life, that it does become important to have people that you can count on and know that, like, you share a similar life with, I guess.
I think there is kind of a special bond, even if you meet someone in the workforce or something, and you know that they have a similar belief system to you, there is kind of a special bond there. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because you can talk about things a little bit differently.
Yeah. You can say even things like, I'll pray for you, and not feel weird about it.
Well, it feels like, and this is a very different topic, but as Christians, I think a lot of times we, especially in the workforce, feel that we need to hide our beliefs and who we are. Yeah. And so, when you find somebody, you kind of cling on to them. You're like, oh, we can talk about this. Hooray! Even though it might not be everything you talk about. You might not talk about it hardly ever. But there's just, like, a camaraderie. Yeah. So I think, like we said, community is super important. And we believe that God is calling us into community in however that looks for you.
Yeah, like, I would say, like, for Grandma, her church people are her people. Right. I went to church with her fairly recently, and you can just tell she's so at home, surrounded by this, you know, her friends, her family, and that's where she fills her cup. That's where she gets energized. Not that she doesn't get energized when we're around, but it's just different. Yeah. But for me, not necessarily that level of community. I've changed churches a lot, and I'm, like, currently in the process of trying to find a church home. So community is fluid.
Yeah. And I think, you know, I've brought this up several times this week as we talk about the podcast with our family and friends. And we say this absolutely all the time, but it's important to remember that your reality, or my reality in this case,
Right.
is not everyone's reality.
Right.
So while the church community might be what works for you today, right now, that community may change over time. Right. And that's okay. And I think something that I've been afraid of in my life is to be considered a church hopper. Like, I have this deep fear of being considered a church hopper. I have talked about this in therapy. So I've been very afraid of that, and that has kept me in communities that didn't function for me anymore.
Yeah.
So I think it's okay for your church community to be a little bit fluid. It's okay to find a faith community outside of church also.
Yeah, for sure. For me, like, people that I work with now, shout out to you if you're listening. I do also have a community of faith people at work now.
Which is so
very
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you know, when the Bible talks about having a faith community, it's really not talking about what we know as church today.
Oh, nice, smooth transition.
Thank you.
Yes.
So we talked, in which podcast?
Probably all of them.
Yeah, but we specifically, I think in the last podcast, we very specifically, because we talked about women in leadership. We very specifically talked about the structure of the early church.
Yep.
And it was so different.
Yeah, it's not only Sunday.
Right.
Your whole life was for the church. Your occupation was pretty much for the church.
Well, they needed each other on a whole different level. They were starting a new religion.
Oh, yeah.
That was being persecuted. They had to have each other. And so if you brought them into our modern day churches, they would be like,
what the heck?
This is sad. Like, this is not enough.
Where's your faith?
Right. Because we have a very specific structure of the way church functions. And I think we've made fun of that a little bit before.
Just a little bit. But you sing 3 songs, and then you go into announcements, and then you go into the message, and then I'll shut up.
And then you sing one more song.
Yeah.
And you pray and you leave. But that wouldn't have been familiar to them. That wouldn't have been familiar to the writers of the Bible who were asking you to be in community anyway.
Yeah.
So all that to say, and I'm sure we may dive a little deeper into that later too, but stop singing.
That's from The Princess and the Frog.
But I think it's important to just remember that a faith community can be fluid, depending on where you're at in your life, depending on what you've dealt with the church.
Yeah. I've personally found a lot of, like, faith-building moments by myself. Like, when I was in between churches, I would drive over to this lake not too far from here, and I would listen to whatever church service I found that I liked on my phone, and I would have my breakfast there, and I would pray, and I would sing some songs, because I love to sing. And that was kind of like community to me, because I was with God and my phone.
Always good to be in community with your phone.
Yeah. Social, Alyssa.
All right, so bouncing off of that a little bit, because there's parts of that I want to come back to, because we aren't saying don't be in church at all. We're just saying church can look a little different for different people.
Yeah, absolutely.
But for me, part of why I stayed is because I don't believe that all of the garbage that we talk about in churches, all the patriarchy, all of the extremism, the lacking women in leadership, things like that, I don't believe that's what God wants for his church.
No.
Or for his people.
No.
I think that is a messed up version. If I don't believe that this is what God intended or wants for his church or for his people, then I feel a responsibility. And I'm not saying that everyone needs to feel this responsibility, but I feel a responsibility to help change that.
Yeah.
To help make it better. Because I think if you let the church just sort of wallow in misinformation and tradition.
Tradition.
Oh my gosh.
Well, there's a song, actually a church song, that says break down the walls of all my religion.
Mm-hmm.
Something of all my tradition.
You really don't know the Christian songs, do you?
I do! I do. It says your way is better. That's what it says.
It does say that. But I think it's, at least for us, and we're doing it in a different way, because we absolutely did very recently leave a church over this exact topic.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying stay in a church that's harmful to you and your belief system. But what I'm saying is I personally didn't want to give up on the whole institution because I want more for God's community.
Yeah.
Not that I can do it on my own, that God couldn't do it on his own, but just that I feel like there's something here for us to contribute.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here. That's why we started the podcast. I had to talk Bree into it. Actually, the pastor talked Bree into it.
What?
Don't you remember after that one sermon, I said, so Bree.
Yeah, he did. He didn't even know he did.
Yeah. Well, he kind of tried to opposite it.
Yeah.
And then another aspect of me staying in church was for my family. And that sounds a little bit weird, like, oh, I don't need it, but my family does.
No, I think that's a very valid reason.
I've said before, so a lot of people in our family homeschool, and I've been asked.
We were personally homeschooled.
We were, not the whole time, but for a little while. I think 4 years.
It was 4.
Yeah. So I have been asked many times, like, oh, why don't you homeschool? Because my daughter and eventually my son are in public school, and that's a big no-no. And I've been asked a lot of times why I don't homeschool, and the biggest reason is because as a working parent, I don't have the capacity to be responsible for my children's education. If you do, that's great. No judgment.
No judgment, because we were homeschooled ourselves.
Absolutely. But just personally, that's not something that works for me. And I feel the same way about church. We had left the church for many, many years, and I started to see in my daughter that, like, she didn't know the Bible stories. And she wasn't praying. Yeah. And kind of all those little things. Yeah. And I realized it was because I was the only one responsible for it, and I was failing.
Yeah. And there's power in knowing that, like, you don't know everything. Right. And having other people in your life, like, not one teacher in high school that's responsible for everything when you go. There's other people, you know what I'm trying to say.
I got you. And it's that part of the community, I think, is so important, to have other people to help your family along.
Yeah. It takes a village.
Right. And I mean, I think, we were not raised in a religion where you really had, like, godparents.
No.
But I like aspects of that because I like the idea of here's somebody else who's going to help you with your child's faith.
A spirit guide. Instead of a godparent, I want spirit guides.
Okay. If you have kids someday, I'll be their spirit guide.
Okay.
Great. But yeah, that was a huge thing for me, was I needed other people to come alongside me, because I will forget things. I won't tell the story right.
I will be the first person to say you have a terrible memory.
I do. It's really bad.
You have the worst memory out there.
That's why we had a whole discussion about what this podcast was going to look like this morning. And Brianna, if you paid me $1 million, I could not tell you a thing we talked about.
I know.
That's why we have an outline.
Yeah. Not that it sounds like it.
But basically, we believe that there's better out there for the church. And there are aspects of the church today that we enjoy. Bree talked a little bit about worship.
Yeah, I think I've experienced good worship music, bad worship music in churches. And I just personally, it's like a magic feeling when you're in a big church and they're all singing the songs and the lights are low. You just really feel God in that space in a different way than me in my car alone, where I still could feel God in that space too. It's just different. you know?
And for you, that's super important.
Mm-hmm.
For my husband Nathan as well, it's something that we really focus on when we're looking at a church.
Yeah.
He's a musician, so that's huge for him.
I am also a musician.
You... Sure.
I am not.
When we were in high school. You did talk about band camp on the last...
One time
On
in
the
band
modesty
camp when I played the flute.
Now they know.
I'm not going to continue that.
Yeah, so that's kind of the answer to those questions. If you have more questions about that, I would love for you to send us a message on Instagram. You can find us at wearemore.podcast or Facebook at the same one.
I'd also love to maybe have a section where we share people's stories if they were comfortable with that.
Yeah.
So share a story of why you stayed in your church or why you maybe left a church or just share your stories.
Yeah. So you can find us on Instagram or Facebook. It is wearemore.podcast on both of those platforms. And actually, we just started a YouTube channel.
Look at us go.
So you can comment there as well.
And soon I will make a TikTok.
And maybe eventually Brie will make a TikTok.
I'm so Gen Z and I'm so hip with the times.
Mm-hmm. So hip. People say that about you all the time.
They say I have hips. They don't say that.
We didn't get that gene, Brianna.
No. They say my hips don't lie.
Do they?
No, they don't. They
right.
say I lie.
We're 34 minutes in and we haven't gotten to question 2.
Question numero dos.
So this one comes from, I think, the more Christian side of things. So we're kind of switching it up a little bit, answering a question from each group of people.
Yeah.
So this question gets thrown at feminists a lot. So like I said, we're switching gears.
And honestly, I'm not great at catching.
No, neither of us are. We did not get that gene either.
Nope.
And I've seen it actually. So we follow, or I follow, I guess. I don't know if you do.
I do, actually.
So Sheila Ray Gregoire, she wrote The Great Sex Rescue.
You're not allowed to say that.
You say that every time I say that word. And she's just awesome. We just love her. Mm-hmm. But she has been diving into some very controversial stuff lately that I think we'll loop back to at the end. But
close the loop?
Yeah, closing the loop. But she has been getting this question all the time lately, and I just think it's so important to address. So the question is, why do we hate men?
Because! Kidding.
And like I said, feminists hear this all the time. Clearly, because you're angry about men taking all the power, that means you must hate all men. Obviously.
Obviously.
And the answer is very simply,
we don't.
We don't.
We don't. Never have.
No. I think...
I know so many great men. You could never call me a sexist.
I'm friends with so many
So
men.
shut it. Hey, have you heard episode possibly 2? I don't remember.
I think it was 3.
Oh.
I'm not sure. So I think what it boils down to is that, you know, people see feminists, I shouldn't say people, the more conservative people that dislike the feminist movement, the stereotype is usually that, like, feminists are angry. They hate all men.
They're burning their bras and growing their armpit hair.
Which maybe would be better.
Maybe. I do grow my armpit hair sometimes. Let's get real.
And the reality is, like, it's just silly.
Well, I mean, I could do the same thing. I could turn around and look at them and say, why do you hate women?
Right, exactly.
Why do you want to oppress me?
We don't hate men in any way. What we hate is this attitude that men are superior.
Yes. We hate the system.
Yeah, we hate taking power away from women, taking autonomy away from women.
In the name of God.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, we hate it all over. Don't get me wrong, but specifically. Because I think when you use God there's just so much more manipulation.
Uh-huh. Well, you're clearly not a Christian or whatever. Like, your faith isn't as strong.
Right. Well, if you can tell someone that the God of the universe hates them if they do something wrong, if they don't submit to their husband, if they try to lead in church, if they step out of line in any way, that's a lot bigger of a threat.
Yeah.
Than just, well, but your husband's angry at you. Or society's angry at you.
Right.
That's calling your eternity into question now. So that's a whole different thing. So that's what it boils down to. And there are lots and lots of incredible men out there fighting for women in the church.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, we've also seen men in our lives recently really come around to what we've been saying.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think, and we talked a little bit about how our parents never really lived the husband is the head of the household submission lifestyle.
Yeah.
But they absolutely preached it. Like, it was, because that's how they were raised. Yeah. And so my dad would have told you that that's how it was.
Yeah.
And our dad is like a big macho guy, okay? Like,
macho.
You would believe him that he, you would assume that he felt this way.
Yeah.
But not only is he really has never been that way. He's never been one to, like, assert authority over my mom. But also, as we've been talking about this, I've watched, like, the way that he speaks about things totally change.
Yeah, absolutely.
He does still make some jokes.
Yeah, he does.
But that's just who he is as a person.
Yeah. And we love it because it's just like us.
That's where we get it.
Yeah.
And Nathan, my husband, when I first started down this journey, it was kind of by myself. Nathan and I have really never lived like that either, but again, we grew up like this.
Yeah.
This is what we were taught. And so to see him not only be supportive from a distance, but he reposts every single time we post on Instagram.
He's the most supportive person I've ever experienced.
He really is.
Even I don't do that. I'm like, whatever, it's fine.
He will spend an hour, like, trying to figure out the system so we can record.
Yeah.
Or he's been researching how to monetize for us recently. And just so excited about it. And so that's been really cool. And then I got a comment from one of our family members recently that her husband, they just finished listening to the Modesty podcast as a family, which
that's so cool.
I love so much.
It's like we were driving with you in your car.
And I think it's such an important message as a family too. I think that was a great one to listen to. But she told me that her husband had no idea that women were being told some of these things about modesty. And I think that's going to be important to go into as we go on and talk about things. But to hear the conversations that they were having, and the way that this was affecting the way that they think, and opening their eyes to things that women are going through, it's just really cool.
Yeah, opening up new conversations, and even between, like, moms and sons, or husbands and wives, or whoever it is. I would argue even, like, our brother has been very supportive, too. Like, I don't know that he agrees with 100% of what we say, but he's given us, like, cool books and really a lot of words of encouragement. So I think he's great.
But it's just, when you say things like, oh, all feminists hate men, it just doesn't even cross our minds. Like, I wouldn't think to answer this question, except that I see people say it all the time. And I think it's just kind of a smear campaign more than anything. Yeah. It's just, all right, well, I'm going to say that you're this extreme, because if you're extreme, then you're crazy.
Well, it's a tactic that people have used time after time. Like, it's the way the different political parties make each other look.
Right.
Or in war times, what you would make your enemies look like.
Like, they're so wrong.
Yeah.
That you'd have to be insane to think they're right.
Yeah.
And the Christian church, I think, really put a lot of effort into making the feminists look crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because when I was a kid, I mean, feminism was a dirty word.
honestly, up until very recently, I would say.
Very recently, yeah.
It was.
I remember, I think I've told this story, honestly, but the first time I said something about being a feminist, my dad, like, gasped.
I know. How dare you?
Just because it's got such a bad reputation.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so you have to, if you come from our circles, in order to step into a more equality-based mindset,
Mm-hmm.
you have to pull so much of your faith apart.
Yeah.
Because it's in there. And that can be really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And really scary.
Everything that you've been taught,
right,
is being put into question.
Right.
You have to really figure out why you believe what you believe.
Yeah, and I think we wrote down a couple things too about, we don't hate men, we hate what's happening in the church.
Mm-hmm.
We hate the use of stereotypes and patriarchy to put down women.
Mm-hmm.
To crush them till they're manageable.
To make them think that the God of the universe looked at man and woman and said, well, she's not as good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Come on. No, we are both created equally in the image of God. And just because you're power hungry doesn't mean... I don't know what I was trying to say with that.
No, but really, just because someone's been in power doesn't mean that they need to stay in power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so move over.
Well, I think that's true in so many churches. Whoever's in charge wants to stay in charge.
Yeah.
And you see this in a lot of places. This is totally going off the rails, but you see this in a lot of places where a pastor won't retire.
Mm-hmm.
Or
a dentist who's 100 years old. I saw one the other day. I was like, how are you still working?
But you see it all the time. Or I have big issues with satellite churches, but satellite churches where instead of hiring a pastor to talk to this congregation, you're putting yourself up on the screen because your words are the most important ones that they could hear.
Well, and this is something we talked about earlier, but like there is such maturity and strength in being able to step back, look yourself in the mirror and say, I don't need to be in power, or I'm not the smartest person in the room, or someone else might have something better to say. That shows an incredible amount of strength and growth.
Right. Well, and it shows even more growth if you can say, look, we've been silencing this group of people for so long, maybe we should stop.
Maybe what we're saying is wrong.
Because the church has been silencing different groups of people since the beginning of the church.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's been racism in the church since literally the beginning of the church.
Yeah.
There's been sexism in the church since the beginning. And so maybe we need to take a step back and say we need to do things differently. And so we don't hate men. We hate all that comes along with this patriarchal church structure that we've been part of.
Yeah.
And that's why we talk about this stuff, because we're tired of being part of it.
We're sick of it.
Brie, do we want perhaps more?
She said the name again.
We didn't make that joke yet. I was feeling empty. I felt like
I wanted to end this podcast somehow by saying something along the lines of, watch out. We're coming for you. Hide your kids, hide your wife. Cut that part out.
Which of the pastors would you be talking to? Because there's a list of 45 at this point.
I have one in mind. I really feel like with every podcast that we're making and every move that we're making in this direction, I've really felt God's hands on both of us. Not to make that sound weird, but I really feel like God is moving us forward with every step that we're making. And if we're doing something wrong, I'm sure he'll let us know, but watch out.
Well, we got a text today, and it was just like, we were already planning on this particular topic for today, and we got this text that referenced all of the things that we were about to talk about. And it's like, oh, okay, so people really are asking these questions. Like, these are really actually important things for us to go over.
And in transition. Yeah, I would say, like, our goal for this podcast, like, kind of what I was talking about before, but is to spread God's love, right?
It's not to what we don't want you to hear from the beginning of this podcast when we talked about staying in church is that you need to be in church.
No.
That's not our goal.
No.
Honestly, I think church absolutely has its place.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not encouraging you to set out on your own and leave your church and whatever. But again, my reality is not everyone's reality.
Right.
And so I have to sit here and understand that while my choice was to stay in church, yours might be different. And if my whole job is to show you God's love.
Yep.
That's it.
Mine too.
Yours
Don't be
too.
selfish.
Sorry. Our whole goal is to show you God's love. And if at the end of that, God wants you in church, he'll take you there.
Yeah.
That's not my job.
No.
I'm like, if you want me to come with you, I'll come with you.
It depends on where it's at.
Yeah. But that's not my job. My job is never to force you into church. It's never to say to you, the church is the most important thing you can do as a Christian.
No, actually, because I find that, I'm jumping off on a tangent again, but I find so often in those very conservative circles, church becomes an idol.
Right.
Church becomes something that you can check off on a box, and then you can turn around and judge your neighbor about it. Did you go to church? Do you go to church today? Oh, you didn't?
Well, that's the first question. It's never, what did you learn? How did you grow? Did you meet anybody? Like, it's never that. It's, did you go to church? Check.
Yeah.
And that's...
Or how often are you going?
Right. Are you there on
Wednesday? Are you all day there on Sunday?
Did you go to the small group? Did you go to the ice cream social?
Are you also serving on
25
both
teams?
10 services? Yeah, it's something that people create into an idol. So I think if that's what you're dealing with too, like, maybe it is time to take a step back.
Absolutely. And I absolutely did that. I was at a church for a while, and I got very involved, which is very out of character for me, okay? Got very involved in multiple teams, like small group, all the things, right?
Yeah.
And absolutely church was an idol. So I definitely turned that church experience into an idol. It was about how often am I there? How many people are seeing me there?
It's kind of bragging rights.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And so it was important for me to walk away, to step away from that for a lot of reasons, but that was absolutely one of them.
Yeah. And I think that's a big part in the bigger churches and the smaller churches too, but they're like, you don't have to become a member, but you do have to serve.
Right.
And if you're not serving, shame on you. Well, sometimes you're not in a position to be serving somewhere else. Maybe you're stretched so thin, you're working as much as you can, you also have kids, or in my situation, I don't, but I'm also stretched very thin, and maybe you're not in a position to serve, and you shouldn't feel ashamed about that. Sometimes you need someone to fill your cup.
Right.
For longer than a little while. Maybe it's a whole season of your life.
And that's okay.
Ooh!
Ooh. Do you know in the last podcast you ended it by singing goodbye?
I did.
You absolutely did, and I absolutely kept it in.
How would you like me to end this one? In conclusion, in our next podcast,
that was terrifying.
We'll be hitting the big topic. The big S.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
The letter S. Not sex.
So so the reason we took a little bit of a week off of some of the tougher topics that we've been doing, we wanted to have a little bit more fun and just chat also. But we're gearing up for, I think, one of our biggest topics so far.
I have the full armor of God on. Yes.
So next podcast, it'll be 2 weeks from now on Thursday. And if you weren't aware, the podcasts go live at 10 a.m. So the podcast goes live at 10 a.m. wherever you get your podcasts. But I usually don't post about it until like noon to make sure that it's up and good everywhere. But yeah, so 2 weeks on Thursday morning, we're going to start talking about submission. Okay, that hurt.
We'll have to cut that out because that's going to hurt
We'll have to
headphones
cut
users.
that out because it hurt me.
I'm scared. Are you? Actually, I'm not.
Oh, I'm pretty excited. I think it's a topic that we are excited to talk about. This is a topic we're going to come back to all the time. We're going to talk about it constantly, but we're going to really dive particularly deep next time. And I hope you guys are excited about that too. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions.
Mm-hmm.
So that we can share them.
Yeah. Feel free. I mean, text, comment on our,
Probably don't text. They don't know our phone numbers.
and I don't want you to. You feel free to message us on Instagram or Facebook. Your thoughts, your opinions, your feelings. Yep. We'll put them all into one big pro and con list.
Well, that'll be fun. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. We are so excited to chat with you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Love you, bye.